Salespeople are really bad at following up. Look, the biggest problem sales professionals have is they don't follow up with their prospects often enough. They don't follow up with their prospects strategically. You see, we go out and we do sales presentations, and you sit with the prospect and you present your product, present the value, ask for the order, right? More times than not, you're going to be told no. And we do a horrible job at following up. Check out this for statistics. 80% of all sales take place after the 5th follow-up. However, nearly half of all sales reps will give up after only 1 follow-up. That means someone else is getting your sale. If you're giving up your follow-up after 1 additional point of contact, your competitor comes in, presents a similar product, a similar service. In the prospect's mind, they've heard this multiple times. You're giving business to somebody else. We do not do a good job at following up because many sales reps don't know how to do a good job at following up. We don't do a good job at following up because many sales reps don't have it scheduled to follow up. So the big problem for sales professionals right now is they do not follow up properly. Super simple solution here. Let's schedule follow-up in advance. By having follow-up scheduled in advance, it eliminates the need to think about following up. We already know we have to get 5 follow-up points to improve the chance of getting the business. Why not have those 5 scheduled in advance? By scheduling it in advance, we typically use automation tools, which is one of my best recommendations. Salesforce.com, Sales Hub. There's a lot of different programs out there that use automation, which is great. But if you don't have access to those resources, there's other ways to automate follow-up. 1, use Outlook invite reminders. Put time on your calendar that tells you I need to follow up with my prospect. Use delayed emails. Write the email in advance to follow up with your prospect. Send it immediately when you're done, but schedule it. Schedule the day you want to send that email out. If you have follow-up in an automated system, chances are you'll get it done. If you have follow-up left to chance or feeling, chances are you won't get it done. We have to be efficient at following up. So in order to improve the likelihood of getting the customer to say yes, schedule that follow-up time. Now listen, just because you have follow-up set on automation doesn't mean you're doing good follow-up. Just because you have follow-up set on automation doesn't mean you're going to get the prospect to say yes, right? If you go and you give 5 horrible points of contact after presenting to your prospect, so you do the 5 follow-up touches, but they're all horrible, you're not giving your prospect the value for them to say yes and doing business with you. So here's what I recommend. When you have your follow-up scheduled out, have it scripted with value. Script your follow-up touch points in advance with value. Now, I typically recommend that you have 10 meaningful points of follow-up that are strategically placed after your first interaction. And these strategic follow-up points are not this. Hey, I'm calling just to check in. I'm emailing to see what you thought of my proposal. When we reach out to a prospect and we're just checking in or we're seeing what you think of that proposal, that tells that prospect, I am too lazy to do additional research to give you additional value. It is your turn to give me something, right? Remember the laws of reciprocity. If I give you something, you'll naturally want to give something back. And if I've already given you my product service offering and I've asked for the order and you still haven't told me yes, and now I'm calling to see what you thought about it, I'm not giving you any additional value. So when I say have 10 points scripted out, I'm going to give you an example right now. These are the first 3 that I have that I script out in advance. So I have follow-up templates that I use when I'm going to reach out to a prospect after I've already presented. The first one, super simple. It's a gratitude follow-up email or text. This takes place typically within 24 hours. You can also use video messaging if that is appropriate in your industry and you're comfortable with it. So I email my prospect. I thank them for the opportunity to meet. I thank them for the opportunity to present. And here's where the value comes. I highlight the importance of the pain we discovered and the impact they're having from it. Here's the reason that's value. Many times after I've sat with my prospect, they don't know the pain they're experiencing until I've left. They don't know the impact of the pain they're experiencing until I've left. So I want them to remember that. And I end that email with, whether you choose to work with me or not, this is something we should address. It gives them the opportunity to shop out my services, go to a competitor, do whatever you need to do. At that point, this isn't a self-servicing message. It's not saying, hey, come do business with me. It's me highlighting the problem, highlighting the impact, and telling them why they need to get it fixed. That's it. They obviously know they can get it fixed with me. I don't need to say that. That's the first value nugget. The second one I deliver, the second point of contact, is a third-party success story that highlights the same problem they're experiencing. People love to do business knowing that you've done this before, right? Nobody wants to be the guinea pig. Nobody wants to be the first person. So I share in an email, in a message, very simple. Hey, Mr. Prospect, just thinking of you. I worked with Joe, fictional character. I worked with Joe last week on his business. He had a similar problem his business was experiencing, and I lay out the problem that's similar to my prospects. And then I lay out the solution we provided, and then I lay out the results we provided. Here's why I deliver that third-party success story. I want my customer to know two things. One, the problem they're experiencing, they are not alone, right? It is a common problem. Other people in your industry are experiencing it. Two, the other value I want them to realize, there is a solution that's effective. So I've delivered both the problem, the solution, and a third-party story that re-highlights what they're experiencing. And I let them know there's someone else that is experiencing it and someone else has succeeded from it. By delivering that third-party story, at the end, it's my subtle hint that I want to still do business with them. They obviously know this, but as a salesperson, I want them to know I'm strategically thinking of you. At the end, this example made me specifically think of you. I know we could do something similar with you. That's it. I deliver the value, I use a third-party success story, and we move forward. The third point of contact in my follow-up strategy is relevant industry news. This is something that's lateral to their business. This is something that's going to impact them. It may not be a product or service that I sell, but what I'm going to do is take the time necessary to research my prospect, to research their industry and find relevant industry news that I could share with them. This third point of contact is simple. I saw this and I thought of you. How does this impact your business? And I email something of relevant industry news. That's it. Now, if you work in a specific industry and your call points are the same, and you template and you script out your follow-up points, eventually you will have a database of what to send your prospects. This database isn't going to be built by itself. It's something that we have to do. We put the hard work up front. We reap the benefits at the end. So listen, if you're not following up with your prospects, you're at a disadvantage. Majority of your sales take place after your fifth follow-up point. Nearly 50% of sales reps give up after the first follow-up. So we're going to fix that problem by having follow-up scripted in advance. Put it in your calendar, automate the process. Now, just because you do that doesn't mean it's good. We're going to make your follow-up good by finding the valuable information that we want to deliver and having that scripted in advance. And make 10 value bombs you can deliver to your prospect. Now, I got to be honest with you. You're not going to always use all 10. Many times in this process, as I've gone through the 10 follow-up points, by the time I get to 8, 9, and 10, I usually earned the business. Or I've had somebody say, hey, I appreciate this, but with all honesty, this isn't the right time. And not everyone's going to be a yes, but it gets them off the books and it allows me to prospect to somebody else. Create those 10 points. If you need help or you want to talk your follow-up strategies, shoot a DM with me. You can get in contact with somebody on my team. Love to talk with you. I'm Anthony Garcia. This is the Catapulting Commission Sales Blog. Look forward to seeing you next week.